Riverbend Talent brought to you by Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance. And he wants to let you know that you can still give to Dave Zimmerman, who we recently talked about, a benefit for him. And there's a couple ways you can do that. The bank in Bunker Hill accepts donations. I think it's called United Community Bank. Bunker Hill's not that big.
There's not that many banks. Just
I was thinking there's only one, maybe.
Probably.
But out here,
one bank town.
Remember the old bank building out here at the airport? Sits right there on the corner by the stoplight.
Yeah.
All right, that's affiliated tax, and it's Genesis Investment, I think, is what the name of it is. But John C. Payne, his wife, is connected to that bank, and you could stop by there and find out all the information too.
All right.
Right.
Just go to your local bank and ask them if they're accepting money.
Well, honestly, man, you should stop by and talk to John. He's a really nice guy, so he'd love it that people are coming in to talk about helping somebody like
Absolutely.
Dave Zimmerman needs it. So
absolutely.
But yeah,
I need help.
Not
as much. Dave Zimmerman needs help, and please give money to him. All I need is your supportive thoughts out there.
Well, luckily Tracy Inman's here to give you some help. He's been played on 140 country radio stations. How many you been played on, Big Man?
I was on Kicks 106 one time.
Your song was?
No, but I got to sing live on there.
Now wait a minute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't you just sneak in there at night or something?
No, this was what was the guy's name? Jeffries. I forget the
Alan Jeffries, one or something. Yeah.
I forget the DJ's name. He was a really super nice guy, and when they announced, when Emmis bought out Bonneville or whatever it was, and we took over the point and the river and all that, they knew Kicks was going away. But there was like this 2-week period where we knew Extreme was going away, we knew Kicks was going away, but we still got a job for 2 weeks, so you're there. So this Steve Jeffries, I think it was, he has these 3 really cute girls come in, and they want to sing on the radio and do harmonies like the Dixie Chicks or whatever, back in the day.
You're the phone guy?
No, I'm the DJ at Extreme 104.1 down the hall. But he to make it seem like a legitimate thing, he invents a contest that we're going to have where there's a singing contest, and I was the person that they went against. I sang a Johnny Cash.
Guaranteed win, right?
Yeah, the girls sounded great, and I'm over there like doing Johnny Cash with no background music or whatever.
Well, we are talking country music with Mr. Tracy Inman, and thanks for coming in, Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
And late success to your life with your songwriting. You're just getting started.
Yes, sir.
Not really. Been writing songs 25 years.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I've been writing for a long time.
Just now putting them out.
Pretty much just now getting them out.
Well, family first. What's your real job?
Actually, I work for Phillips 66 in Wood River.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
you're a busy man.
Superintendent down there, yeah. So I've been there about 14 years. I was a union carpenter before that for about 20 years. So,
you've been busy. Raising kids. And
yeah. I've got
they're
three
getting
kids.
old enough now to where you can actually maybe pen some of these songs and record them.
I'm actually a grandpa.
Oh.
Yeah, my kids are all grown and moved out. And
now we're getting down to
I got a 4-year-old, almost a 1-year-old, and then I have a one in the oven right now from my daughter. So
it's way easier being a grandpa, ain't it?
Oh, yes, sir, it sure is.
Send them home when they get fussy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're handfuls.
I only have to feed them if I want to.
Yeah. Sugar them up and send them home.
Right. But revenge is mine.
Yes.
What I mean by late start, you just recorded your first 2 songs ever, right here.
Yeah, I call it my midlife crisis.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
like it.
I just.
It should be the name of the album when you finish it, right?
Yeah, I mean, back when my kids were young, I wrote that "Daddy's Girl" song, and obviously it's about my 2 daughters, and it's about my son in a way. I mean, you can say girls, daddy's girl, but it's about all your kids when you write something like that. So hopefully when that comes out, you guys will understand what I'm talking about. But really, really meaningful to me because in a way they helped me write it. Adding a couple words here or there, so that's something I'll always remember. That's something they'll always remember, and even my one goal for doing this now is also, for my great-grandchildren, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. Mm-hmm. They'll think that they have that talent to be able to write something that they could get on the radio, or in that time it would probably be in outer space, about on a jet somewhere, but
just beam straight to your head.
Just beam right to your head. Exactly, but the goal to me has always been family, and with them, my kids love it. They love the song. Like I said, they helped it, but I really want, I hate to say it, when I'm gone, I want to have some type of impact on the rest of my family, even my cousins, uncles, cousins and nephews and nieces, brothers, all that stuff, pass along. Yeah, a legacy, yeah. And, God is the ultimate legacy, right? But I want them to know what I was like in some way, shape, or form. You can look at videos, by then they might not even have any of the stuff that we have. DVDs be non-existent, but they should always still have music in some way, shape, or form.
Boy, we hope so.
Yeah, so that song and then
that Rush album don't come true.
Oh yeah,
2112.
2112. Yeah,
a lot of albums that talk about the end of music, but
yeah. So the Daddy's Girl song was actually the second release. The first release, is called On Facebook. Both these songs will be on Spotify and iTunes and some other platforms next week.
Okay, so we're hearing them early.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're actually on Spotify now. See, this is pre-recorded.
Oh, okay.
According to the pre-recording date, it's next week. But by the time you're hearing this, they're on Spotify.
They're on Facebook when I listen to them. So
yeah.
To me, I wasn't exactly sure if that meant they were released. And when he said that they weren't released, I'm like, well, I listened to them today. Fill me in on what's going on.
So they're released on at least on Play MPE. From AOK Records. That's a platform that includes all of the country music radio stations in the United States.
Okay.
So it's released on that, and it's sent to them for download.
Okay.
And lots of them, more than 140, have downloaded them. But right now, 140 different stations have played the On Facebook song, and they played it more than once, is the data that I've gotten from my promoter. So by playing it more than once, it's already done more than what I could imagine, right? I just wanted to hear a song on the radio, so, I'm not out for fame and fortune or anything like that. It's great to get that if I do, but regardless, like I said, I just want something out there that my family can listen to when I'm gone.
Makes a lot of sense. Lolo's the one he talked to. He contacted the station, and Lolo sent him my way. And when he said his song's on Facebook, I thought he meant like on Facebook. So I went looking for it, and then I found Daddy's Girl. So I thought that's the song that's on Facebook.
Yeah,
and then he said there's another song, and I'm like, I went and looked,
So that's funny, because whenever I tell people, like right now, like we said, it's not on the platform Spotify yet or whatever, but when I tell them go to on Facebook to hear the song on Facebook,
right.
So I have to quote on Facebook. Right. I have to say titled and then quote on Facebook, and it's on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah,
that totally threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I eventually came back and found it and everything. I'm like, oh, duh.
I do my own marketing in a way as well, right? So I will send off to program directors and stuff like that. But the same thing when I'm sending an email, please look for my song titled on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I send them the Play MPE, from AOK Records. So.
Something we didn't mention earlier, and we were kind of talking about it a little bit, is we do like to educate people. That's why we do what we do here for the younger musicians who aren't really sure how to get things going. And you said something key that we mention all the time that I think people don't do, and that's reach out to people.
Yeah.
Reach out and ask. You'd be surprised what happens when you do that.
Yeah,
we talked to Darian Rowe recently. I asked her, I'm like, how'd you get all these gigs? You're playing every place that we mentioned.
Playing down in Memphis regularly.
Yeah, she's I just called them. That's the answer.
and even to if you're just a lyricist, it's really cheap to find some places. You want to make sure that they're not taking your money right off the bat, right? If you're going to that, you're getting scammed, right? But we were talking before, there's so many places that have studios now throughout the whole United States. I live in the area here, and right around the corner from me, I just found out today that there's a studio right there. So these people, I would assume, don't really charge too much, because when you go to Nashville, where I went for some of the stuff, it really wasn't expensive as you would think it would be. Even the promotion wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that, actually, and you don't have to divulge how much it costs to do that, but it is an interesting question just to throw out there.
Yes, so many people just assume to go to a real studio in Nashville or even in Memphis or anything like that. Oh, I can't afford that, because there was a time where just to go to a 20 years ago, if you went into a studio, you had to have some money saved, because they charge $100 an hour just to set up. And but there are so many studios now. I think it's brought the price down, supply and demand type thing. And so a reasonable budget to go down there and record a song in Nashville. And that was even with
a full band.
A full band being supplied too.
And they're pickers too. They're
they're really good. They've been playing for years together.
Yeah.
And they hook up, it's not just me, obviously. There's other people they hook up for us. They do a really good job.
Yeah, you didn't even meet the band, did you? Did you?
I met a couple of them.
You did?
I didn't meet them all, no.
No,
by the time I got down there, I was in the studio itself singing, putting down the lyrics.
Right. So this is Hilltop Studio where you did this at.
Yes.
And AOK Records is who's pushing the material for you,
yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Yes. So there you go, folks. So how'd you find that place?
Actually, I told the story a little bit earlier. Back in the 80s, there's a guy named John Conley, right? He Old School was like one of my favorite songs.
I remember it.
And I follow him quite a bit on Facebook, and some, not the song on Facebook, but I'm just kidding.
Right.
But I follow him on there.
Nice plug.
Yeah, there you go. I follow him on there sometimes, and he played in Edwardsville like 4 years ago.
Nice.
At the Wildy, a great place to watch the show.
Definitely.
Brandon Holland played there one time about 10, 12 years ago. But I was looking at his Facebook, and it popped up on there about AOK Records, and I thought, well, let me see what they got going on. So I started looking them up and looking at the reviews. You got to look at the reviews, right? Because that's what's going to kill your company if you got a lot of bad reviews. And 99% of the reviews are really, really good, right? And so I just ended up contacting him, asking him how much it would cost to come down to do it. I gave him the old bucket list story. And he wasn't sure how I'd sound, because these people, they will, if you're a lyricist and you don't sound good, they will supply a singer for you, and they'll put the whole song together for you, and
wow.
And you're credited as a songwriter. And I went down there and I did the first song called Heaven or Hell, and it's a pretty good song. That hopefully will be the next one that comes out, probably about a month or two, just seeing how these other songs go. But I just found him. Went down, worked with him, met with the producer, and did about 10 takes on that song, because I'd never sang in a studio before, and it was just really fun. My wife went down there with me. We spent the whole weekend down there. I hadn't been to Nashville since in probably 20 years, back when the nudie guy, the suits guy. The nudie suits guy, his store.
I don't remember that.
Oh shoot, Alan Jackson seen that song, "Worn Out Suit" or "Worn Out Nudie Suit." But anyway, that guy there, he was still alive back then, selling stuff down on Broadway. But we went down there with my wife, and man, we just had a blast. Spent a couple hours with those guys, and then you're done for the weekend, and you're able to go hang out at Broadway. I don't drink, she might have a drink every once in a while, but I don't drink anymore. And man, just had a great time. So I thought, about a week later, I messaged him. He was already mixing the song and all that stuff. And I was like, hey, I think I want to do another one. Because originally I was just going to do that song. And I started digging through my old lyrics, and the Daddy's Girl song came up at that point in time. And another song that I wrote for my dad, that's the one I sent you. But don't play that, because it's not even done yet, right?
That was a work in progress.
That's a work in progress, yeah. So that one's got to slow down quite a bit. So I went down there, did the Daddy's Girl song, and then about 4 weeks ago, we went down again, my wife and I, and the On Facebook song. I sent him the lyrics, and I gave him, on the phone, talking to him and all that stuff, and went down there that weekend, and within a week and a half, he's like, hey, we got to get this on the radio. He said, that's a great song. So if you guys ever hear the song On Facebook by Tracy, that's me. So I'd appreciate calling and requesting it if you can.
They can hear it. It's available, so all they got to do is go out and get it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's exciting. There's your legacy starting right there.
Exactly. And then I have a couple more. One I got written last week, and started kind of messing around, playing with the bass, getting the melody in my head, stuff like that. And I contacted him, and he's like, "Yeah, I really like that song too, so let's get that going."
Okay, so now I got to get down to some logistics here. So this whole thing with the band, did they have the track like laid out for you?
Yeah, they had the track laid out for almost all of them, but there was a couple there. When I was there, I was able to walk with them, and they had the majority of it done.
So you walk in and they play something for you. Is that how it went down?
For a couple of them, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what'd you think when you heard it the first time?
You're always leery.
Yeah.
You're like, man, there's one song that I have down there still that I haven't got the lyrics on it yet, and it's one that he did without me being there, and it's hard for me to understand the verse because you got this stuff in your head, and then he's got a verse down there, or he's got the music down, and you're trying to tie into it. So that's what we've been working on. Next time I go down, when I do this new song, we're going to redo that one. So a band will have.
So there was a scratch vocal track even that kind of guided you through it, or was it just the music?
Oh no, it was just the music.
Okay.
So if I got it right, he'll call him on the phone,
right?
Give him the lyrics and sort of hum the melody,
right?
Or sing him the melody,
yeah.
And from there they build the song,
yeah.
And then when he comes in, but on this particular one, he built it without following your melody maybe quite as well.
For the most
now
part.
You have to rephrase it to fit the new.
Exactly.
Sort of
he had something in his head, and the way I look at it, the guy's been doing it for years, right?
Yeah.
I'm 53 years old. I'm doing it, finally getting some stuff going after a few years. So I'm relying on what he's doing, So next time I go down there with it, I'll have to meet up with the guys.
So it's like when Bonnie Bramble would get paid just to sing.
Right.
And then people have to follow her melody. He's kind of having to follow the producer's melody a little more than his own.
Exactly.
Just taking your lyrics and going a little more with his melody.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah, I was following along there 100%, but there's a lot of people that listen to this show that might not understood exactly what we were talking about. And I think some of their heads are clicking right now because I know this one guy that writes a lot of songs.
Yeah.
But he don't want to sing them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I guarantee when he hears this, and he listens all the time, he's like, I got an idea. I'm going to call these guys.
Do it. Call it. There's, like I said, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them out there, but you got to make sure you get somebody that's legit, because some of them will just take your money.
Yeah. There's always
read the reviews, and look them up even further for reviews,
And we got a review right now about Hilltop Studio. right here from Tracy Inman.
Yeah, good group of people. Yes,
but I'm telling you, Pigpen, they were cooking. That band.
Oh
was
I
know
heard the two songs, and I was curious before we met Mr. Tracy this evening and asked him who the band was. I was very curious. Like, is this your band? Like, is this some cat you know around here?
Well, I don't know if you guys know. When I say I sing with Revolver every once in a while, probably like eight songs, 8 or 10 songs.
And that was a band your brother was in.
My brother was in that for a long time, and then he ended up leaving, so I just I hung out with the guys, and that was about a year ago. But there's a guitar player with him, man, that's just a great guitar player. He'd be awesome on these things,
Yeah.
So I always thought that if I ever go, like you were talking, you did a live thing in the studio with the guitar, I'm assuming, right, with the acoustic guitar, I always thought about bringing him, have him do it, and then.
Because that's the next
if it gets that far, definitely, you know what I mean.
It definitely is, because real music listeners want to see it live.
Yeah,
they'll listen to your song all day long, but they really want to see you do it live.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what it all ends up being.
It's hard. There's no replacement for the vibration of live music. You can listen through the stereo speakers, and it's great. But the vibration of live music being played is.
Well, and people may be thinking, why did he ask if it was a band? Computers can play this stuff now.
Oh yeah, computers can. I verify.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
I agree with you.
Again, back to Rush, Spirit of the Radio.
Yeah. And
Agreed.
not just play it to the point you don't know if it's live or Memorex.
Well, it's interesting because I was reading up on that. The thing that really killed a lot of music is like the Cher song "Believe." I believe, that weird computer stuff, that's when they really started diving into the computer covering the people's voices. A lot of those people, if you read up on it, they're really not that good as singers. I'm not saying Sherry ain't. Sherry's, of course, a great singer, been a great singer for years. She just decided at that point in time to go that route, right? That was a new thing.
Auto-tune was brand new.
Auto-tune, exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, that auto-tune, man. That ruined a lot and made a lot, made a lot of people that probably didn't have talent,
Good for them. And they look good, though. They look good on the videos.
Hey, man, good for them that they were able to take advantage of.
I mean, in all honesty, the people watching Britney Spears videos, they got the TV turned down and they're listening to Slipknot or something anyway. Yeah. They're just watching the video.
They're just watching,
That's true.
That's about right.
I think you're talking about something else, Pigpen.
Could be.
It wasn't Britney. I don't think you were talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Oops, I did it again.
I do want to mention your brother, though. You brought up Chris Inman's your brother, right?
Yeah.
And he played with Shameless.
Yeah. Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill. And then recently with Revolver. Is he doing anything?
Yeah, and I feel bad because I can't think of the name of his band right now.
We'll just have him in.
Yeah, bring him on. He probably will after this.
Yeah.
No, he does good. It's he's in a southern, I think it's a southern rock band that he plays in right now.
There you go.
We're gonna say the Allman Brothers. We're just gonna say that.
Yeah. There you go.
They invented southern rock, right?
Just join Leonard Skinner.
Yeah. Well.
So that's something I was thinking about though with those musicians down there in that studio. We talked earlier about there's a lot of studios around here. I don't think we can say there's a lot of studios that have bands built in. I was wondering, does Lighthouse have that?
So they do. They have musicians available. They also, like, if you're into sort of hip hop, they will supply the beats. They got the beat generators and all that. So they do. It's just the session musicians that are Lighthouse is able to get. Probably not as many hours logged playing as, say, the cats. A lot of the cats in Nashville. They got a bigger pool of full-time musicians down there in that city.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know Kevin Hamilton had his hands on all the local musicians and session players when he had his studio going. Kevin Hamilton, rest in peace, from Artiston Studios, has passed away, but he worked with Sony Records. Yeah. And J.R. Engel, that was his main session drummer. J.R. Engel played with the Undecided. Shout out to Lighthouse. If you need a guy, J.R. Engel. I
always called him RJ for some reason. I don't know why I would mess with him back in the day.
I set up for the Undecided one time. Kind of a roadie for just one time. Remember Jacks Are Better was the name of the...
So that was Sundays down in it was so we're talking like early 90s, if I remember right.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s, early 90s. He probably was like late 80s, early 90s. And I remember at the time that Jacks Are Better opened, it was down in the East Alton Plaza down there. Not the East Alton Plaza, but the one across from it, right by
it's right where Erin's is now.
Yeah, where Erin's rental is. And I remember we would get these lucky Sunday gigs there. And to us, this was huge as kids because we had a steady Wednesday and Thursday at Big Al's and Hardin. Friday and Saturday, those were like your steady, Yeah. And then if we would score this Sunday, 5 gigs in a week. Oh, is Daddy eating good this week? I mean, it was like, you felt like a rock star. Like, we did 5 gigs. I'm pretty tired, man. Whatever. All right, Jacks Are Better.
Jacks Are Better. That's a big place.
So what did you...
you brought up the Undecided. I helped set up a friend of mine named Jeff Ogle back in the day. He was good friends with Donnie.
Yeah.
And a couple of the guys in the band. And I had a partial body cast because I was in a car wreck when I was 19 years old. So it was 1989. So I'm walking around in this partial body cast and I'm helping set up that gig. Wow. I just got out of the hospital, and
wow.
It was pretty cool. So we drew a big question mark on the back of my cast.
There you go.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The guys from the band liked it, but
they probably don't carrying equipment, let alone with a body cast.
Well, I wasn't carrying heavy equipment, right? I was just kind of walking, but they probably don't even remember. But I see Don every once in a while, remind him, say hi, but I don't think he really remembers me.
Man, how could you not remember a guy in a body cast?
I was going to say, when he said put a question mark on the body cast, I'm like, we're going back a long time, but I do kind of have... I remember the Jacks Are Better, and remember, like, for sure doing some Sunday gigs over there that seemed like money to us. Like, ooh, we've already made the payments on the equipment. This is free money. I don't know.
Yeah. I got a segue out of this.
All right.
All right. So we brought a body cast. That's kind of like a mummy.
Well, it's a partial. Went down my front and my back and down one leg halfway, right?
Kind of a mummy, kind of paranormal.
Yeah, it was.
Kind of paranormal.
Yeah,
you
you're
see
right.
where I'm going?
It is a segue.
I see how you're linking it in. I see how you're linking it.
Speaking of linked,
See,
There it is. Yeah.
you have another talent that we like here at Riverbend Talent.
Yeah, it's another venture that I took into back in December. A friend of mine from work named Sean Miller, been a coder for web working with the websites and stuff like that since he was 10 years old. He's an engineer, one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and we were just discussing the paranormal because he's made a few pieces of equipment for another segue into where I investigate, and co-founder of That Paranormal. It's right here in the Riverbend area. We do a lot of stuff around here, a lot of hunts. But he'd been making us some different really cool gadgets for investigating. And I just went up to him one day. I'd been thinking about the negativity that we'd been seeing on different sites towards the paranormal. A lot of people it seems like it's just getting a little bit negative, and all the people we talk to personally that I'm friends with throughout the whole world, we're all just kind of talking about. So I went and started talking to Sean. I was like, hey, what can we do to kind of build a community, to build something that would be a little bit more positive and people could advertise what they want to do, what they are, if they're an investigator, spiritual healer, stuff like that. So we started talking about something similar to LinkedIn, and he's like, that's kind of boring, though. I mean, it's good. They can comment. They can post a few things on there. And we started thinking, I said, what if I were to come up with something that had a cool name, and I know we can get a lot of people right off the bat. And he said, well, if you come up with a cool name, he said, I'll do it. But if you don't come up with one, we're not going to mess with it. Because I bring him ideas like once a month, for the last 4 years. He's jumped on like 2 or 3. And I don't know if he's regretting this one yet, right? But he that day I said, I started thinking, I said a couple of names, and then I said paralinked.com. He said, I tell you what, if that name is out there, and we can get it for a good price, he said, we'll do it. He said, I promise you I'll do it. I said, okay. So I look it up right there on my phone. It's for sale, the website, the GoDaddy's where we went to, paralink.com. And it was like, I don't know the exact number, it was like $5,
Yeah.
So I bought it right then, and I started the trademark process right then. That same, as I'm talking to him, I'm hitting the trademark stuff.
Good job.
Because I trademarked That Paranormal. Our group, we trademarked it to sell shirts and stuff. And so he's like, he kind of gave me that look, like he was excited, yet he was kind of like, damn, what'd I get myself into?
He's serious.
No, I tell you what, within 2 weeks, he had the bones of that thing built because he was off for 2 weeks for Christmas vacation. And I really was thinking it was going to be like 2 months before we'd be up and running. So by January 2nd, we're up and running. And I'm starting to advertise it on Facebook. Just on my page, I have like 3,000 or 4,000 friends that are paranormal in the paranormal community, and I've met some of them, never met them all. People ask me to be their friend, stuff like that. I check them out, make sure my wife's okay with it before I add them, stuff like that. And
they're prostitute, nope.
and it comes up like that, it does. You're like,
I know my wife.
Why is
finding them online?
Exactly. Yeah. Why is she on there? Well, look at her stuff before you go kick her out or say something to her, because she's got like 45,000 friends that are paranormal. Where we have the same mentality when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, we just we got that built. We started getting a lot of people right off the bat, and Sean has added so much stuff to this site. It's not even a website. It's a social media platform, is what we call it. You can go in there, you can post stuff, you can comment, you can like, you can follow people, you can private message them. We've got like 9 or 10 categories where you can post stories, you can post podcasts. You can actually embed your podcast into the system. Sean's got his whole setup in his basement. We're our own host. We're our own everything, right?
Nice.
Yeah, so there's no cost with it, so it makes it easy for us.
Yeah.
The only cost is, you go to your trademarking, you go to LLCs, you go to all that other stuff, which is what I've done. I went ahead and got that to protect us. But man, it's if you guys get a chance, anybody out there listening gets a chance, go to paralink.com. It's free. It's for the community. It's for the paranormal community, is what I'm saying. It's all positive. People are posting stuff. You can advertise. You can do whatever you want. It's free. It's a cool site.
Cool.
It really is.
And the paranormal group is that paranormal. That's an abbreviation. That word.
Yeah. T.H.A.T. Paranormal Crew on Facebook is what it is.
Okay.
Tom, Heather, Amy, Tracy, or Tracy, Heather, Amy, Tom, depending who's saying it right. Tonight
Tom
it's Tracy.
And Tracy fight over what it really means.
So me and Tom have been best friends since second grade, and Heather we've known since high school, and Amy is actually, we've known her since high school, but she's also Tom's cousin's wife. They showed some interest in it back when we were kind of forming, so we went ahead and grabbed them, and it's been pretty cool. We do a lot of hunts. We do a lot of private hunts. People don't want to go live with private hunts too much, but some do.
Don't forget to mention your camera person.
Oh yeah, my camera person's my wife. She's been, out of all of us, she's been there as much as me, put it that way. Yeah. She ain't going without me, so I go to every one, so she's been, and we go on our own and hunt too. Yeah, so if we go on vacation, we'll, last year we went to, of all places, Dubuque, Iowa, right? We decided to take a weekend trip. You know, we do a lot of weekend trips. We used to go to Kings Island, anywhere within 5 hours we go, and we've been to. And we decided last year to go up to the Field of Dreams. Never been there, thought it'd be cool. Went to Dubuque, and we ended up stopping and staying in an old mansion because we got there, and I realized I didn't book a room anywhere, and I was looking through booking.com trying to find a place, and the place that was reasonable and looked pretty cool was that. And come to find out, when we got in there, he has conventions there for paranormal. Redstone Inn is what it was called. And a huge place. There's about 15 other couples staying there. But he let us hunt that place that night. He said, I'll give you an hour to hunt it. And we had all our equipment with us because right before we decided to go to Iowa, we contacted somebody else for the Edenboro house, which is right on the other side of the place we were going, the ball field, right? The Field of Dreams, right past that, like half an hour. So we went there, and that was the scariest place I've ever been. And after dark, my wife wouldn't even go in the place because it was pretty scary, right? And you guys, you said you got into ghost hunting a little bit here or there. Yeah, I mean, it scared me enough that if I would have been by myself in the basement, it's a huge old whorehouse built in the 1800s, and it was Cat Armstrong's the person that let us hunt with him.
That's his favorite kind of place to investigate.
I tell you what, man, they did the first time I ever seen the Estes method done. If you ever do the Estes, they put you sit in a chair. A person sits in a chair. They have noise deafening there, and they can't hear nothing. That you're asking questions, and then all they hear is an answer or somebody answers. And this guy was spitting out. He didn't spit out too many, but he spit out a couple answers.
Right upstairs from here.
Brian Murray and
Rochelle and Brian. Yeah. I haven't done it yet, but that was the first time I even saw
what it is. I just didn't.
I
just forgot.
Yeah, so
you know who you are, believe it or not.
Yeah, so that's the furthest place we ever did away from here with just me and my wife there. But with that paranormal, we do hit a lot of places in there. McPike Mansion a couple times, stuff like that.
How we doing on time, baby?
Doing fine.
Okay, I just want to ask you questions that's a little more in depth here.
Do it.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm all ears.
All right, so you were talking about Sean Miller.
Yes.
Being a techie.
Yep.
He knows computers.
Yes.
He's invented some stuff or created some things, and you were talking about in the pre-interview a camera that's able to identify. He said he's got EVs and explain that thing again.
So he's got he built us a camera about 4 years ago. My friend Tom and I, for that paranormal, we were. What we wanted was what everybody else has, which is a camera that you just walk around with. And we're not techies at all. We don't know nothing about it. So we're like, hey, man, what's a good camera to buy? Has infrared on it, and, we can walk through it, and it has a microphone.
Right.
That's all we're looking for.
Yeah.
He goes, let me see what I can come up with. He 3D printed a camera for us.
Wow.
But what he says, I'm not sure if it's true. It's one of the world's smallest computers inside of this thing, right? So you got a touch screen on it, and it goes straight to YouTube with one button. You got to line your YouTube up with whatever. But you can go for that. You set it in a room by itself is what I do. I don't really like to walk it around. But it's got the infrared on it. It has an ovulus on it, which means it catches words, and it has a percentage of what those words are. So with an ovulus, it pulls out something. And a lot of times that word you just don't understand. Why is it that word? And you guys know what I'm talking about. But But this one here gives you a percentage. It's either 100%, 90%, 81%, 21%, whatever. So you know that it's most likely not that word if it's down under 50%. You know, otherwise you got a 50-50 chance above it. He put a temperature gauge on it.
Nice.
And he's got an EMF on it. It's a meter, and it's green all the way up to red, and just like your EMF is, and it fluctuates. A lot of the times it's down on the green, just like your EMF, as you know, right? Unless you're in a electrical area, you know, it's going to go off, you know, stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. So what you do is, he made it to where it's built in with the OWLZ. So as it's creeping up, you know that you're getting something there. So you press this thing, and as soon as you press it, it gives you the word. If it catches the word, sometimes it doesn't catch the word, and you have to wait for it. But it gives you the word, and as you press it, and it also, like I said, it gives you the percentage of that word. So it's pretty cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So we've been on some podcasts here lately. Sean and I, the one of the ones we did was out of Anaheim, California. Henry, I'll think about it here. But he asked because he knows people in the field that are getting ready to do a show for paranormal, and there's 100 shows out there now for paranormal, right? Henry San Miguel, and but he's like, hey, if I present this to my Hollywood friends, would you mind, you know, showing it to them? You know, so you know, we're both thinking that's awesome, you know, and he that was about a month and a half ago. So you know, it takes a while to push that there. Well, then we go to the next one. The guy's like, man, we really like that camera. You know, would you mind letting us present it to somebody that's got a show coming on, you know? And then finally last week we had another one, so that's 3 within like a month and a half.
Wow. Yeah.
They want to take it, and they're asking, can he mass produce it?
Yeah. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, man, Brian and Rochelle.
They're going to want one of those. Yeah.
I will tell you, though, they got a robot now.
I saw that.
Yeah, with like treads that can go upstairs, and
Johnny Five.
It looks pretty cool.
Exactly. Who's Johnny? She said.
The podcast. Do you guys do a podcast from the website, and or is it available other places?
So on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do a podcast called On the Hunt with Grizzly, and it's a friend of mine named Grizzly Chris, and he is from Kentucky. We both do that together. We have a YouTube page for Paralink.com, but we're getting ready to add those podcasts onto it, and eventually the goal is for us to do our own podcast. But what we've been noticing lately, I'm sure you guys have noticed, there's 50,000 people out there trying to get a YouTube page. You know, and then when you get it, you got maybe 10 listeners.
Yeah. Because
there's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
I'll go through Facebook during the day, and a lot of people advertise on Paralinked and saying, you know, hey, here's where, and you know, it's through Facebook. You know, Facebook's a great site still. I'm not gonna leave it. I want to keep on Paralink.com too, but Paralinked is just for the paranormal. I want to see other things, so I'll stay on Facebook. But man, when I flip through, you're like,
you should write a song about on Facebook.
I should. That's a good segue. Yeah.
I wrote one.
You know, I did.
I wrote one called On Paralinked. A new song.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
no, you're right. But yeah, there's just so many podcasts and YouTube things out there. Yeah, and everybody and the brothers coming up with the team for, hey, and bless their hearts, man. That's awesome. If that's, you got a passion for all that stuff, the podcast, more power to you, man.
So is there a place we can find that podcast? All the places that have podcasts, YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube would be where you'd find there's 90 Facebook Lives that it's on.
Okay.
And there is, I couldn't tell you everything that it's on, but the place I would go is YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's on YouTube. On the Hunt with Grizzly.
Is it on your Facebook?
It's on
Paranormal too.
Yeah, it's on that Paranormal always, and it's on Paralink.com. There's a link on there for everyone as well.
You got it covered.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all right.
You know, and the streaming stuff now, like I'm talking about, there's so many different streaming stuff. There's a Paraflix. Have you heard of that? That's a streaming for all the movies and stuff for all the shows, and they charge you like $4 a month, but They have, I think, I don't know if Nick Groff's on that, but they have all these other people that are on there. There's probably 1,000 shows that you can watch if you're into the paranormal. It's building up pretty good, and it's good for the community. There's millions of them, right? Come to paralink.com and sign up. We're not making any money off it. We just want to get the community together. We want to see how many people there actually is out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you stopping in and letting us know about your songs and your paralink.com, and we're going to have him back and get Mr. Sean Miller to come along with you and dig into his brain, see if we can check that camera out.
Hey, what do you think about bringing in if I brought in an acoustic guitar player and we'd do a live song?
Well, we might be able to do that. Sometimes we have problems picking up the audio with these type of microphones, so we'll have to discuss that. But appreciate you coming in. You got any gigs, we'll definitely promote them for you when you finally do get out there, and you got more songs on the way. We'll be talking about that in the future too. So.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
big thanks to Tracy Inman for coming in, talking about his recordings, talking about the paralinked.com and that paranormal, and best of luck to you in all your endeavors, sir.
Thank you. Back to you.
Big thanks to Halpin Music Company and Matt Van Boris of Macias Insurance for sponsoring the show and allowing us to come in here and do this. Everybody, remember, get out and do what?
Support local music and Tracy Inman.
There you go. And art. There you go.